Okay, guys, so we are going to make our URLs for our messages within our direct messages. So we need to make a new file called urls.py. And let's actually just copy this whole thing from our main URLs, jump into the other one, paste that in here, and we are going to get rid of some stuff. All right, make sure you get rid of that comma. We don't need settings. And direct messages.views can actually go up here without that last dot. Okay, so now this is going to allow us to have our URL patterns being within our inbox instead of being constantly in our main So this is going to allow our URL patterns for our direct messages being within the direct message app instead of being in the main URLs. So we'll just say direct, or we could do messages, and then we will include, just like what we have up here, include instead of registration, it's going to be direct messages.urls. And we want to get rid of that $sign because the $sign signifies the end of a string. Okay, so now it's going to be messages slash inbox to get to our inbox, and then messages slash sent to get there. And then eventually we'll have some type of message ID. So let's try this out and put messages in front of inbox. And there we go. So now that works, we want to make a new URL here and place it underneath, and I'm going to call it compose. So this is not going to be the same thing as reply. This is going to be just making a brand new message called compose, and it's going to be similar to the other ones. So in our views, let's go ahead and grab one of these. I'm going to put it at the top and just put compose. There's no specific reason I put it at the top. I just did it so it's going to be easier for us. I'm going to change that to compose.html. So in our templates, we need to make our a new file for compose. So go into direct messages and then new file, compose.html. Of course, if you can't see that I'm doing a new file, you can just go to file and then new file, just like that, or control click and do it. All right, so now that we have this, we can close out sent and inbox. I'm actually going to copy one of them and paste it into compose. So now it's going to be some form as paragraph. So we need to actually make that form. So back into our views, let's get rid of that, and we'll do form equals to, well, we need to make a form. So let's make our new form file to actually add a form. So in here, we'll do new file forms.py. Okay, so in here we'll do from Django import forms, and we're going to call it class compose form, and that's going to take forms.model form. So it's going to be going based off of our model, and it's going to be class meta model equals to, oops, we need the colon there, and then from.models import direct message. Okay. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and put this form into our view. So from forms import compose form. So now the form is going to be compose form request post or none. So it's either going to say get the post data or it's not going to get anything. And of course, if it doesn't get anything, that's okay. We just need to make sure that we know that we can do request post. Oh, whoops, this needs to be capitalized. So it's going to be able to get the post data. Okay, so now that we have that, let's actually go and look at compose. Okay, so now we have our subject, we have our body, sender and receiver. So of course there's going to be a few things that I don't actually want in here as far as fields go. So let's go back into our forms and we are going to actually update that now. So we're going to add fields based on our models. So field equals, or based on the models that we want subject, and we want body, and we want receiver. Right, so if we go back into our models for it, just open up our models and we'll see subject, body, receiver. Those are definitely the things that we want. And I'm actually going to put this right there. Okay, so now back into here, and if we refresh it, we want to spell fields correctly, otherwise we will see nothing coming through. Oops. And there we go. So now we have subject, receiver, and then our body. We want to add we want our body field to look differently, so we want it to be a different, what's called a widget. So for reference, we're going to look at the Django project's documentation for that, and notice that we have this extra widget field or declaration for a text area, and that's actually what we want. So let's go ahead and copy this one. Again, you want to look at this as like, hey, this is a good place for reference. Now let's go back into Komodo Edit, and underneath that, name is not the field that we're using, right? So that model author has a model of name, and they're using a text area for that, but we want our body to be a text area, so we'll take that. And notice that text area is not actually imported anywhere. So if we look back into it again, we'll notice that this is the import. Another way to do that is we did import forms, so we can just add forms.textArea, and then we'll see that come through. So back into Chrome, into our document, if we do a refresh, now we have a body area. So that is starting to look good, and we have a way to go to different receivers. We can do a subject, and yeah, I mean, this is kind of coming together a little bit better for us. And another thing that we need to do is turn this into an actual functioning form. So form action equals to, we're going to go there, and then method equals post. And of course we want a submit button down at the bottom, so input type equals to submit. Okay, so if we refresh, now we have that down there, and if we add the button class and button default, now we have that submit button down at the bottom. Cool, so now it's starting to come together a little bit, and we can hit compose here. All right, maybe we want to change the order of receiver and subject to make it a little bit, so it makes a little bit more sense. All you have to do is this, cut that, and that should change the order for us, assuming that the models are correct. Okay, so now it changes the order. Receiver, we are going to make a smarter receiver function than that eventually, but for now this is going to work. Okay, so now back into our views for compose, we want to do if form.is valid, form, let's say send message equals to form.save, commit equals to false. So send message dot sender equals to request.user. That's a definite thing, right? So the sender is going to be whoever's logged in. And yeah, I mean, then other than that, let's see, we could set those dates that we had in our models. We could set those. So like sent. So we could set it to being date and time now. So let's go ahead and do that and just kind of see what happens. So send message dot sent equals to date. I'm gonna have to import it. So import date and time, import date time. So date time dot now. That will set the local time on there, and then we'll do send message dot save. Okay, so we go back in here, do a little refresh. We might want to do, well, if request post, this should work. So let's do Peter Griffin, and we'll say, hi, how's it going, buddy? And go ahead and hit send. We don't have the CSRF token, so let's make sure we do that. CSRF token. And we can let's go back. We're gonna have to refresh that, so let's try that again. Hi buddy, how's it going? Hit submit, and it doesn't look like anything happened. Let's go into inbox sent. Messages sent, not inbox, messages sent. We're gonna have to clean up these URLs. I'm gonna have to double check to see what messages. Okay, so hi buddy, how's it going? So that is a basic message that we just sent, and then back into inbox. Of course, if we saw messages come from us or to us, then we would see this as a more user-friendly type of way to see all the different messages being sent and received. But as you see here, it is showing up, and it's actually not in the correct order. Well, WhatsApp actually, I don't think had a sent item, so let's actually even put in our sent thing here. We're going to put in on item.sent and do a refresh, and then that one doesn't have one, but it shows it on the other one. And from now on, if anyone uses the compose thing, it will definitely have when it was sent and all that. Now this is not an email, it's not sending an actual email, it's just sending an internal message within Django, so direct messages. And of course we can start to use this to our advantage to start building a messaging system. So in the next one, we're going to kind of clean it up a little bit more and hopefully add some more functionality to it. But it's definitely starting to come together as something that's actually usable. All right, well, we'll see you then.